So I am very pleased to see and to announce this year that Oracle is participating in the conference. So I'll introduce our keynote speaker in a moment, but you'll also find that they've sent 3 technologists who will lead, or who will give breakout session talks this week. And they'll also be leading a Birds of a Feather session tonight on MySQL 5.6. So, we're very pleased to have them here. Obviously, it's better for you if you get the information directly from the source. So with that, I am happy to welcome our final keynote speaker for this morning. And that is Tomas Ulin, who is the Vice President for the MySQL engineering team at Oracle. He's been working with the MySQL database team since 2003 and is based in Sweden. He's responsible for the development and maintenance of the MySQL-related software products within Oracle, such as the MySQL Server, MySQL Cluster, MySQL Connectors, MySQL Workbench, Enterprise Backup, and Enterprise Monitor. Prior to working with MySQL, he has a background in the telecom industry, working for the Swedish telecom operator Telia and telecom vendor Ericsson. He has a master's degree in computer science and applied physics from Case Western Reserve University and a PhD in computer science from the Royal Institute of Technology. Please join me in welcoming Tomas to the stage. Welcome.
Thank you, Terry. So I'm really happy to be back, and it was a bummer. If I hadn't missed last year, I would have been able to raise my hand, and I've been here for all the 10 years, but hey, at least I'm here for the 10-year anniversary. I'm happy about that. So. Glad to see so many people here. Before I start off my presentation, I'd like to just look back 2 years from now, because then I was standing not at this podium, I think it was another room, but I was talking about MySQL 5.5. And I was very proud to be able to present 5.5. It represented a fresh start for MySQL. We started on a different path where we changed our engineering processes. We employed a lot more QA resources than we've done in the history before that, and a new Stewart Oracle for the database. And I think MySQL 5.5 was a great success. It had excellent quality. It had great new features. So I'll be talking about 5.6 and how we've sort of moved forward with the same path, but that'll come later in the presentation. So today, I'll be focusing on 3 things. Oracle's investment in MySQL. I'll also hope to get across to you the excitement that I feel about 5.6, so that you'll all be working on 5.6 from, I guess, 11 o'clock when I finish off this keynote. I think it's a great release, and I want everybody to get excited about that and just start working on it. And also, we'll be looking a little bit into the future, what we at Oracle and MySQL will be focusing on with respect to MySQL moving forward. And I want to start off with a big thank you to all of you in this room. I think probably, I don't know, how many of you in this room have reported a bug on 5.6? Oh, I thought it would be more. At least 20 people at least. So that's great. Thank you very much. The kind of feedback that we get from our community in terms of feedback on the features we do, bug reports, it's really invaluable. It really helps in making sure that the releases that we get out are as good as possible. So. And also, once we release the 5.6 GA, all the excitement that you share with us and with the community really helps to drive the adoption. So thank you very much. I started off with saying, talking about the fresh start that we did for 5.5. We put out a new engineering process, and I'm going to show you how this worked when we did the same thing with 5.6. Leading up to the GA release in February. So what we did was, instead of, like in the past, just cram a bunch of new features into an alpha release and then do another alpha release with yet another bunch of features, semi-finished, and then sort of complete them on the way, creating a lot of uncertainty of when we would complete the release and so on. We said, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do a step-by-step, iterative, and agile type of development, where we divide the work into milestones. We divide them equally in time, approximately. Say every 4 to 6 months, we come out with a new milestone. And we decide to do, for each milestone, we decide to do a small set of features. We not only decide to do a small set of features, we decide to complete them. We decide they should be feature complete, they should be fully QA'd when they hit the street. And this is very important because we don't want to build up development debt and create uncertainty for the future. We could, in principle, take any of these development milestones releases and release them as GA. But you, as well as I, understand that that wouldn't be possible from a sort of a maintenance standpoint to have, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 GA releases every year. So we said, okay, let's do a new GA release every 24 months or so. That makes sense from sort of an operational perspective. That's how often you can consider bringing in a new GA release onto the market. So here you can see the different development milestone releases we did with 5.6. Sets of features, optimizer features, InnoDB features, replication features, performance schema features, and partitioning, and a whole bunch of things. And I'm really happy to be able to stand here today and talk about this and tell you that we managed to get this release out in time. And I think it was because we did it this way. Along the way, we decided to not bring in some features because we didn't think we would be able to complete them in time. During this course, we decided, oh, well, let's bring in some other features that we weren't thinking about when this whole thing started, because those turned out to be important and something that people wanted. So very agile as well. And just, I guess most of you were around in the 5.0 or in 5.1 days, right? Is there anybody who's not familiar with 5.0? Okay. So these are all familiar things to you, right? We really failed with 5.0. Some quotes here from Jeremy Cole, for example. I think he's in the room. MySQL 5.0, remarkably painful. We created a lot of debt there, and we had to work many years to sort of catch up and ensure that we were back in the game again. Even 5.1, still, we weren't fully back on track when we released that one. We put a lot of work into 5.1 and then also subsequently fixing old legacy bugs, but I think we are on track today. Starting with 5.5, we did this fresh start that I talk about, and we just got excellent reviews. People are really happy about the feature set. People are really happy about the quality. They're really happy about the timeliness in which 5.5 was released. Same thing with 5.6. It came, I think, 26 months after 5.5, so missed there by a couple of months, but still didn't drag on for years. And from what I hear in feedback, it has great quality, a great feature set, and already said, in a very timely manner. And see some quotes here from different community members. And I think, I don't know if Sherry's here? Haven't seen her? Okay. But a bunch of people are here representing different companies. And that's one thing coming back here. It's fun to see so many familiar faces and see how they switch around. And somebody, I used to work at Twitter, and now I work at LinkedIn. Somebody moved from Twitter to Google. Somebody moved from Google to Facebook. And it's like ever evolving. And there's so much MySQL knowledge out there circulating in this ecosystem. So really happy to meet so many familiar faces. And sort of recapping of what I've said already, we made a fresh start with 5.5. We moved on with 5.6, and I think the promise of the future is great, and we'll continue in the same path, working in the same mode, moving forward with subsequent releases. And I think important here is that We are adding a lot of new features, a lot of innovation to MySQL. We keep the quality very high, and we release in a timely manner. So coming back to Oracle's investment in MySQL, I think Oracle is in a unique position to deliver a combination of things in sort of the number of resources that we can put into this. We have a solid business around MySQL. We are profitable, which ensures that we can invest a lot of resources, development resources, to make sure that the next release and the next release after that can come out with a lot of new features. And I think that you should keep that in the back of your head when you think about how this whole works. How can you invest so much money in this? It's really important that you keep a solid business around what you're doing around MySQL. I think we have the innovation, we have a great roadmap, and we have a very, very professional engineering workforce. A lot of years of engineering expertise in there, a lot of new people coming in as well, learning quickly, the MySQL source code, being able to contribute very quickly, fixing bugs, making new features, doing QA, release engineering, all the things that are important in order to give you a product that is ready to really battle tested and ready to go and stay online for you day and night. Today, MySQL development has hundreds of MySQL engineers. We have a bigger InnoDB team than ever. We have a bigger optimizer team than ever. We have a bigger replication team than ever. We have tripled the number of QA resources. And we have, since the pre-acquisition days of MySQL, we have doubled the engineering workforce. And we're growing the team by the day. Hiring will grow the team even more the coming year. And we have by far the largest development engineering team in MySQL's history. Looking a little bit of what we sort of in numbers, what we have done in the past couple of years. We've done 191 work logs. Are you familiar with a work log? Anybody not familiar with a work log? Okay, it's whatever we call entities of development, a feature, if you call it. But many features can be, of course, broken up into several work logs. But it's individual pieces of enhancements that goes into the server, as opposed to bugs. They don't typically have work logs. We have fixed 1,667 bugs in 5.6. We've fixed 2,909 bugs in total since MySQL 5.5 GA. We've added 911 MTR, MySQL test run, tests in MySQL 5.6. And as I already mentioned, we have tripled the QA team with 400. We now have like around 400 man-years of database QA expertise on that team. And I think that's really important for you when you take 5.5 or 5.6 into production, that you have a solid database to work with. Another view, looking this from Stewart's posts recently, the number of lines of code that have been added. Quote from him is basically, we've not seen anything like this in terms of number of lines of code since the 4.1 days when we added the cluster stuff, which, by the way, was me and my team joining the MySQL back then. There was a lot of lines of code coming in back then. So really a big step in terms of number of lines of code. Of course, number of lines of code is not always good, but it's a testament of the amount of work that has gone into to MySQL 5.6. This is a picture that I've used before, and we have it here because the question comes up. So why? Why are you doing this? Why are you investing in MySQL? And I think it's really important that you understand that MySQL fits perfectly into Oracle's strategy. Oracle has a strategy which is to be able to provide a full stack apps apps to disk the whole way, and also not only the whole stack, but also the breadth of the stack in each layer. We have an open standards philosophy around this. You should be able to buy the whole stack from us if that's what you want, but you should also be able to pick individual components in there if that's your choice. We do think that in a lot of cases it's cost efficient to buy the whole stack. You can save a lot of work on integration work and so on, but again, it's your choice. If you just want to pick the database, and the number one database on the web is MySQL, we provide that. And that's how it fits in, right? Oracle wants to be number one on the web, number one on ERP, and if you take on apps, there are even more choices. You want to be number one in transport, the number one in retail, and so on. And there's no questions asked. We've seen it several times in these keynotes in the morning that MySQL is number one on the web. It powers today 9 out of 10 of the top most trafficked websites in the world. And I think you can guess the one that's not in there. Anybody? That's MSN, right? They're running SQL Server for a reason, I guess. So just to summarize, MySQL does make sense. It makes a lot of sense for Oracle in, for example, the web, the mobile, and the embedded space, both on-premise and in the cloud that you've heard both Peter and Simone talked about already. The Oracle database and the MySQL database are very complementary. We have, as I already said, together they serve a broader set of customers. It's very well suited for web-based mobile apps and also custom departmental apps and embedded apps. And there's a lot of customers out there that benefits from running both MySQL and Oracle together. I think Oracle has some 400,000 customers. And it's believed that some 70% of those customers run Oracle products side by side with MySQL. I talked about what we've done in the last couple of years around the MySQL Server, and MySQL Server is by far the only thing that we do in the MySQL engineering team. There's a ton of products out there, and here is, since 2010, just lists of all the different releases, GA releases that we've done during the past, I'd say, actually, 2.5 years almost now. And never in MySQL's history have we seen so many new products come out in every year in a period of time like this. We have things like MySQL Cluster and the MySQL Database, of course, our flagship products, but then all the products that come around there. We have the Enterprise Backup, we have MySQL Workbench, we have MySQL Utilities, which is a new open source toolkit that we have released. We have the MySQL Migration Wizard that helps you move from SQL Server to MySQL, helps you move from Sybase to MySQL, and so on. We have Enterprise Audit. We have the Cluster Manager, and several of them have been released in several versions during this year. And also, you might have seen MySQL Labs, where we release early some of the features that we want to get out. And I think, looking at this list, I think it's fairly impressive. So many people have said so many good things around 5.6, so I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but I will go into a little bit more detail on 5.6. As I said, I do want to get you excited about 5.6, as excited as I am around 5.6, and I think it is really a big leap forward. We have so many different features in so many different areas around the server, and I feel confident in saying that 5.6 is the best release ever in terms of feature set and quality. We have improved performance and scalability. We've been able to show scalability up to 48 CPU threads, and at scale, we can have like 3 times the performance gain over 5.5. We've improved InnoDB in a number of different areas. We have better transactional throughput and availability. We've improved the optimizer, faster query execution for a lot of different queries, improved replication, improved performance schema. Performance schema was first released in 5.5. A lot of excitement back then. We've done a lot of improvements on performance schema in 5.6. And also with 5.6, and I think both Peter and Simone already mentioned the NoSQL access and what that means came out now in its first version in 5.6. And this is same slide I guess Peter used. We're able to show linear scalability as you increase the number of CPU threads, and that the MySQL server is really able to utilize new hardware if you decide to buy a bigger and faster machine. We're able to get much more throughput and also scale across the number of connections that you add to the database. This is over 3 times the performance. So very, very good numbers. This is not every day you see this kind of performance improvements from one release to another. On InnoDB, as I said, a lot of things. I think there's a session by Sunny who will be talking more in depth on this, so I'll just skim through them, and I encourage you to go to Sunny's session today and get more in depth on what has happened there. So things around better resource utilization, removing a lot of bottlenecks to be able to scale, some SSD optimizations. We have done some really nice optimizations for read-only workloads, and better availability and faster scaling, online DDL operations. I'm personally very excited about. It's something that we had in cluster for many years since I have a clustering background. It's one of the sort of the top features there to be able to do DDL operations without taking down or making a table read-only. Now we have it as well in InnoDB, so I'm really excited about that. We now have full text search. There's a recent blog by Todd Farmer out, and we did a switch with the MySQL database to actually use the InnoDB full text search now instead of the MySQL full text search. And of course, the NoSQL access. I'll come back to right here. So why do we do this? So first of all, we believe that users are going to want a combination of an advanced query language. You want to do complex queries. You want to do your data mining and sort of figuring out without having to write pages and pages of code to perform that query. You can write it in a very compact and quick, fast manner with SQL. At the same time, we understand that people want really, really fast access if you just have key value type lookups. But being able to do that and have the same data set underneath, in this case here, the InnoDB storage engine, I think that adds great value to you as users of the database. While not sacrificing then the flexibility that the SQL interface gives you, you can, for parts of your application or certain applications, you can optimize then the access pattern towards InnoDB and get up to 9 times the performance by basically bypassing some of the layers in the MySQL server and going directly to Memcached. And Peter mentioned in his keynote that we had a NoSQL type access method towards cluster, and that has been a success factor for cluster, why it's been so adopted in many places, especially in the telecom area. Having worked with that product for many years, I encountered many customers that really appreciated this ability to both work through typically their consoles where they do more maintenance type operations. They want to do SQL, but for their sort of transaction intensive application where they want to save money on hardware because they're shipping in thousands of copies, it's really important for them to get the most power out of the boxes in terms of throughput. So I've seen many examples, as I said, of this success of this in cluster, and I'm hoping we're going to see similar success with 5.6 and the NoSQL SQL combination that we're providing here. The optimizer, a long list of things here. I think this becomes highly context dependent, whether you care about subqueries or if you don't care about subqueries, whether you have the particular queries in your application, which and if you can gain from this. I think things like explains for insert, update, delete, people have been asking for this for many years, and this is something that everybody can benefit from. And the other ones you'll have to go in and see if you want to use MySQL now in a new use case, when you can see that, oh, I can get good performance also in this case. I think the structured explain, for example, can also be very helpful for almost everybody when you want to try to figure out what's going on with your query and optimize something or change something, and the optimizer traces as well. So this is a reading exercise for you basically to see whether a lot of the optimizer features is something that you can benefit from. But in terms of performance gains, it's anything from 4x to 200x, depending on what kind of query you're looking at. Replication, as you all probably know, is one of the top features for MySQL, why it's become so popular over the years. It's so easy to scale out the MySQL server, add a new slave, and so on. Yet there are many things that can be improved, and we continue to improve replication. These are the features that we added in 5.6. So on the performance side, being able to scale now InnoDB can scale, right, with threads. And of course, we need replication to be able to scale as well, right? Because otherwise, you can't really utilize the InnoDB performance gain that you're getting. So multi-threading slaves, the binary log group commit, and some optimized row-based replication helps you so that you can benefit from that InnoDB performance enhancements all the way through the chain to the slave. Better failover recovery, especially global transaction identifiers, is a great addition. Makes it much easier to build your tooling around failover capabilities that you want to have in your system. And then some nice things around time-delayed replication, remote bin log backup. Those, again, depends a little bit on whether it's useful for you or not. But I think the other ones are things that you can pretty much benefit from right away. Performance schema was very well received when it came. Unfortunately, there was some performance overhead, which made it less useful in some cases. We now have worked very hard to bring down the performance overhead, and our design goal is that there should not be more than 5% overhead to have your performance schema on. And I think we've succeeded in most cases, and before Mark Allahan raises his hand and says otherwise, I do acknowledge that there are some use cases that we still have to work on, and we'll continue to work on those. But there's a lot of new instrumentation there, and so much information. And I think one thing that we will work on as well is to make it easier for most people to access it, because it needs a book by itself today, because it's so flexible that maybe sometimes you don't see the forest for all the trees. So we'll continue to work on that to make it so that you can have sort of these are the tools that you most likely want to use and have them prepackaged somehow. But it's a really useful tool, and we have had a great feedback around this. So I'm really happy about this, and we'll definitely continue to work work on this and iteratively continue to improve this. We were working with the community, reaching out, trying to get even more feedback, get our messaging out, getting you involved. We've grown the community team. We've sponsored 40 events. We've delivered 70 talks at different conferences. We've dozens of tech tours. We've had virtual developer days and so on, very well attended, so we're very happy about that. We have had MySQL tracks at scale and self-conferences, a lot of blogs and social media, and of course, MySQL Connect that I'll come back to in a little bit in the end. So that concludes the second part, getting you excited about 5.6. And maybe I overdid it because probably you were excited about 5.6 already. But for the few of you that weren't, I hope you're now excited at least as well. So I have everybody with me on the 5.6 train. Looking a little bit ahead and moving, what's going to happen in the future and what we're focusing on. Just looking at what we think are important trends that we need to sort of navigate along, and I think this has been said already by Peter, so it'll be some repetition. The whole web internet thing is continuing to boom, and mobile internet is just making it boom even more, right? So this is old news to everybody, and MySQL is already #1 out there that I've already stressed. But we need to work hard to actually make sure that it stays #1. There are new technologies coming up all the time. Peter listed a bunch of different things, different products out there, trying to address different challenges in the market. And of course, we'll continue to make MySQL better and better and better to be able to meet those challenges. So our goal is to remain #1. And that means that there are a bunch of things that we need to work on to ensure that happens. The other one is the cloud, and we had Simone, of course, going into this in depth, but also Peter talked a lot about this. MySQL today is ubiquitous in the cloud. I think almost every cloud vendor out there has MySQL as an option. You saw it in AWS. There's in Rackspace. There's in every you can get the sort of the database as a service type thing, which is MySQL as a choice there. But also all the apps that you can get in the cloud. Many of them, a vast majority, are powered by MySQL. This doesn't mean that we can sit down and just wait and let things move on. I mean, there are challenges, right? We need to work on our scale-out story. We need to work on our manageability story and so on. There are many things that we need to do to make sure that we stay #1 there as well. As we're challenged by many other products that try to address challenges in this place. The third one, and a bit of a repetition here again from the trends that Peter brought up around big data. Big data is important for MySQL, and there's a lot of growth there. I think the number on the top right there, 90% of the Fortune 500 companies are running pilot projects by the end of 2012. And it's like everybody's talking about big data, and I think the important thing here is it gets almost boring for me to say there, but in the open source arena around big data, 80% of the users working with a leading Hadoop vendor, not mentioning any names, integrate already now with MySQL. So you could claim that we're #1 there as well. But coming back to the same argument there, I mean, there are challenges. We need to make sure that we stay #1 and stay relevant in that market. So those three, the internet just keeps growing. We need to keep growing with it, enhancing our product. The cloud, we need to just continue to make sure that we stay relevant there and meet the requirements of the vendors there. And on the big data side. On the big data side, we haven't done so much ourselves, other than just being a database, right? Okay, I'll skip this one. In the big data lifecycle, there are different sort of stages in there. There's a decision stage, there's an acquire stage, organize, analyze, and so on. And Hadoop, or the MySQL database is used in different places here. And there's been a popular connector which has been used to connect MySQL with Hadoop here. And we thought it would be good to make something exciting around that. So that's why we built the Hadoop Applier, and I think that was announced yesterday. So what that basically does is it brings the, instead of having like a batch job from the MySQL server into Hadoop and then doing some processing with sort of stale old data, we want to have a live feed of the data into Hadoop so that you can do basically speed of thought analytics on your data. So out on labs today, you can download and try it, and I already saw on a number of posts, and people are already getting excited about this. But if you are looking at big data, and I don't know, probably 80% of you are, for some reason, then I think you should take a look at this. The Hadoop Applier, available on labs.mysql.com, and try it out. Basically, it takes the binary log and parses that out through the binlog API. The Hadoop Applier pushes this into the HDFS data file, and you're able to work on it with Hive or any tool around the Hadoop ecosystem. So read up on that and give us feedback. That's what labs are for, right? This is something that we want to try out. We think it's a good idea, but we want to have your feedback to make sure we build it in the right way such that it makes it very useful for you. The other thing that I want to talk about and sort of announce or stress today is that we just released, this morning actually, our first 5.7 milestone. It's out there, so anybody doubting that 5.7 will be open source, this is proof to the contrary. We will continue with the path we set out. There's no reason why we would do anything else. MySQL is ubiquitous in the web. We want to keep it ubiquitous on the web, and web is open source. And there's no other choice if you want to stay the #1 database out there for the web. Just quickly on some of the features that you'll see in the first milestone. Of course, this is, as I said, just the first one, so there will be a lot of other ones coming in subsequent milestones. Some features that people have been asking for around non-blocking show slave status. There's some other additions to replications, idempotent mode, some additional options for the MySQL bin log. There's some, we continue on the just on the online stuff. I think this is a really critical component in the whole when it comes to meeting future requirements, right? It's no longer good enough to have to sort of take your table offline and do your altering table and so on. People demand more than that today. You have to be online. So the whole online thing that we did with 5.6, we will continue with in 5.7 and make even more operations able to perform online. So here is rename index and enlarge varchar size. Some improvements on InnoDB temporary tables to get in par with MyISAM. The other ones, if you're interested, you can read it yourself there. It's available now. Download it, test it, and give us your feedback. It's really important for us. MySQL Server is one of our flagship products. MySQL Cluster is another one. We've had tremendous traction with MySQL Cluster over the years, growing for virtually nothing in 2004 to a very, very sizable business. And with Cluster 7.3, this is our second development milestone release. And one of the main features with 7.3 is foreign key support. It was actually one of the first features that people asked for when we came out. We decided to prioritize some other features, but I think foreign key support is a very, very welcome addition to Cluster 7.3. So I'm looking forward to having that GA soon. It will be based on MySQL 5.6, which is another big thing. It will be able to take advantage of many of the great improvements that we've done in 5.6. It has a very nice auto-installer feature. It also has an additional NoSQL type access, Node.js JavaScript API as well. So if you haven't looked at Cluster yet, please do. I mean, it's a really neat product. As I said in the beginning, I mean, having the ability to sell MySQL and make a profitable business is what keeps us growing. And for that purpose, we have this palette of add-ons to the MySQL server, which is the value add that we provide to our commercial customers. Many of you can live without them. That's fine. I mean, we're very happy to have the 15 million users or so out there continuing to work on the community version of MySQL, and that's great. But I know that some of you are working with the commercial version. I hope that more will see the value that we provide with the commercial version and eventually become a paying customer. It's what keeps us growing, as I said, and I think there is a lot of value add there. We have some additional things around high availability. There's additional things around scalability. If you are in some kind of business around money, you're probably interested in auditing. If you have some governmental requirements or anything like that. There's additional things around security, especially if you want to integrate with other systems for authentication, like PAM or Windows authentication, so you don't have to sort of manage your users in multiple systems. Of course, you get the support from Oracle. There's also, if you want to use Oracle together with, or use MySQL together with some other Oracle products, like, for example, use Oracle Golden Gate to connect live data from the Oracle database into MySQL, or vice versa, then you need to have an enterprise subscription from us. If you want to use Oracle Secure Backup, for example, to secure backup again on sort of your MySQL systems and your Oracle database systems and other systems, you also need to go to the Enterprise Edition. If you want to use Oracle Audit Vault for auditing purposes, then integrate with that. So there's a bunch of sort of integration points with Oracle products where you can benefit from using the enterprise version. So I'm running out of time here. Enterprise Backup, great product, and of course MEM, the Enterprise Monitor. If you haven't tried that yet, you should really try it. It's free to download, test, and try out. This is a 30-day trial period there, so please try them out if you haven't already. There's no having to buy. I'm not giving out $150 here and you continue to pay after that. I mean, you just stop using it and no strings attached. So the concluding thoughts here, and I hope I made it clear to you that Oracle invests in MySQL like never before. We are serious about MySQL. We're serious about keeping MySQL open source. We're growing the team, adding new features. We're driving MySQL innovation. And we really want to make sure that Oracle MySQL is the best database choice for your next generation web, your cloud, and your big data applications. And we're going to try to make that happen. Some of the sessions that you can join today, coming from Oracle. What's new in InnoDB from Sunny today at 4:50. Dimitri will talk about performance tomorrow at 2. And then Luis will talk about replication at 11 on Thursday. And there's a BOF session tonight where I will be there, Sunny will be there, Dimitri will be there, Luis will be there at 6 p.m. in Ballroom H. And we'll just talk MySQL 5.6, what you think, what we should change, what we should add in coming releases. We'll discuss if you want to know in depth in some of the areas. Welcome to join us there and just talk. Final slide, I think. We have now extended the MySQL Connect event at Oracle Open World for another day. So now it's 3 days, 1-day tutorial and 2-day sessions. It was a very successful event last year. A lot of people came there. We want to try to get even more people there. Therefore, we have a special offer for everybody here at the Percona conference. If you register before the 3rd of May, you can save $700 using that code right down there. And just going to be a lot of exciting stuff there. If you decide to stay for the whole Oracle Open World, there will be even more exciting stuff around there. But you can decide to go just for the 3 days. It's a Saturday to Monday event. And thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Tomas.